Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. It is an absolute honor to welcome Steve Dimon to the show. You have absolutely been an advocate for health, wellness, longevity, and transformation. What incredible work you've done.
April 22nd, 2012, you had a stroke.
Yes.
And you were 100 pounds overweight.
Yes.
Tell us about your journey.
Well, there was a Sunday afternoon, and I was watching the Lakers, and that's enough to give anybody a stroke right now.
For sure, for sure.
But all of a sudden, I just couldn't breathe. I thought, wow, something's really wrong. And I was just really got distended, but couldn't breathe, couldn't catch my breath, and I felt like I was going to die, you know. And I didn't think about, because I was by the minute getting what they refer to as brain fog, and so I wasn't thinking straight to call 911. I lived alone, and so I gutted it out through the night and went to a critical care unit the next day. Drove myself, but I was paralyzed at the time. My stroke was in the pons area of my brain, and it paralyzed me on the left-hand side. So I had to learn how to walk again, talk again, and so I was totally paralyzed on my left-hand side. And I drove down Sunset Boulevard to to a critical care unit, and they took one look at me, and first of all, I couldn't even get in the gate because I was paralyzed on my left-hand side, so I couldn't reach out and push the button to open the gate. And everybody was honking. It was Monday morning, rush hour, and so the security guard came over and took one look at me because all I had on were pants. I couldn't put shirts on or anything like that, no shoes, and I was all disheveled. And he just said, "Pull over there to the disabled place," which was apropos. And so he opened the door to my car, and I fell into his arms. He took me into the critical care. They called 911, and off I went to Cedars.
Wow.
So you were
and I was in the hospital for 30 days.
paralyzed from head to toe on your
From
left
head
side.
to toe. On my eye, the whole left side of my face was deformed, and my eye was closed, and I couldn't raise my arm or wiggle my fingers or lift my leg or wiggle my toes, and
So
totally paralyzed on the left-hand side.
when someone has a stroke, it's not common knowledge to know that you can recover from this. It's generally people believe that once you have a stroke, it's kind of like the damage is done, and you know. So how did you know it was possible to overcome it?
I didn't, and in fact, if you get to the hospital after you're having a stroke, within 2 or 3 hours, there's a window where you can have it's known as a clot buster, where they can administer a clot buster, and you have a better chance of surviving. But I didn't know that. I just thought, hey, it's 21st century. There's got to be some sort of a pill that they can give me, you know, and there is. But I just didn't get to the hospital soon enough. So I had to go through, you know, learning how to walk again and talk again, and it just was. You know, like I like to say is that if you don't have a challenge, you're not going to change. And this was certainly a challenge.
And it's certainly a catalyst for change. Leading up to this, you had a very successful career as an actor. You were in show business. Would you say the Hollywood glam caught up with you and you had to, you know, turn left, change your life?
Yes, I would say that's very accurate. And I had gotten 100 pounds overweight, and so I was morbidly obese, and I needed to lose the weight. But you know, this stroke, you know, caused me to change, and I lost the weight in 4 months.
Wow.
Wow. So what was the first step in this change?
Well, at first I was in the hospital, and I was in the hospital for 30 days, as I say, and then I was an outpatient for another 3 months, so you know, about 4 months. But I could just, you know, when I was asking the doctors and the nurses and therapists, anyone who would listen, I would say, am I going to have the use of my arms and legs again? Am I going to be able to walk and talk? And they said, well, every stroke is different and every patient is different. Well, that's not what I wanted to hear, of course. And but I could just feel myself getting better every day, and I was working so hard. I was working out. They usually give you an hour in physical and an hour in occupational therapy each day. And so I thought, well, I've got all this equipment around me in the hospital here and all these therapists. why don't I just put myself to work? And so instead of working 2 hours, I worked 6 or 8 or 10. And I just kept working and working. I felt myself getting better. And I remember the first day I was able to tie my shoes again, because up until that point I had to have a nurse dress me, and so I had no independence at all. So I remember when I was able to tie my shoes again, put my clothes on, and off I went.
Wow.
Wow.
So clearly, this experience transformed the way you sort of think about health and think about your body. How did it transform or change the way you think about life?
Well, I had a choice. I had a choice of life or death, and I chose life. And with health, I had to totally re-educate myself. In writing my book, I read over 125 books and to research, and then countless articles, magazine articles, videos, and internet articles, and webinars, and so forth. And I just, it was insatiable. You know, I wanted to live, but I had to. First of all, I had to lose the weight, but I had to transform myself. And I like to say that knowledge is power, but knowledge with action is superpower. And so I had to take the action. And a lot of people say, well, you know, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it tomorrow, you know. And so I remember that first day I came home from the hospital, and I thought, my own bed, you know. And I thought, I'm going to sleep in. And then I thought, you know what, Steve, if you sleep in today, you're going to sleep in tomorrow. So I got my butt up out of bed, went downstairs, and started this routine, this protocol of breakfast, and then started exercising. And I exercised and exercised and exercised until I got my fingers moving and my arms and legs, and eventually I was running.
And now healthier and more handsome than ever.
Well, thank you. Just reflected on me. What can I say?
So tell us some tips for somebody out there that is ready to take it on. What are some basic tips you can give people for them to begin a journey of living a life of health, wellness, and longevity?
Well, I think the first thing that you have to do, like I say, you have to re-educate yourself. You need to get that knowledge about health, and but then you need to start eating right, and you have to eat organic, and there's a reason why, and hopefully we'll have time to get into that a little bit. But then you've got to move. You've got to exercise, but move. You've got to at least walk 30 minutes a day, you know, every day. But I also believe in resistance training, and but the combination of my protocol basically is diet, nutrition, exercise, supplementation, lifestyle change, and age management.
Age management.
What is age management?
Well, I'm 70 years old, and
Well, there's no way. You're not allowed to lie on camera, Steve. Try again.
70.
Wow.
Right there, somebody looked at my book the other day and they said, that's got to be a misprint.
Uh-huh.
So how do you do that?
Typo.
You found the Fountain Youth. I have a
There you
feeling
go.
it's at the Beverly Hills Rejuvenation Center. I'm just saying. Special shout out to Devin over there.
Right. Well, it like I say, it's through diet, nutrition, exercise, supplementation, lifestyle change, and age management. But it's putting them all together, and that's what my book is about. It's the protocol, and basically, instead of writing a stroke book, I decided to write a book about how most strokes, heart attacks, cancers, obesity, and diabetes are 5 top killers in the U.S. are preventable, and most are preventable.
Yeah.
And that's what I write about.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Where can people get a copy of this book?
Well, my website is www.stevediamond.com, and the book's there, and other products are there, and it's also on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. But go to my site. You can read about the author. You can see the testimonials that I have several testimonials from doctors and PhDs from the hospitals and so forth that saw my journey and just said we've never seen anything like this.
Absolutely.
before.
Dr. George Shannon says, Steve Dimon is an example of how hard work and determination can help overcome seemingly impossible odds. And you have done that tremendously. Thank you for being here today.
Nice work,
My
Steve.
pleasure. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Stay tuned.